You ever wonder what makes a great gamer? Great gaming is not only about cheering on our teammates, but also being there to pick us up when we're down.
Guardian down!
Have you ever played Destiny with a fellow Guardian and thought to yourself, I wonder what their life is like? Questions like these spark conversation, friendship, and community. We're a Destiny 2 podcast that focuses on three things: community, news around the gaming industry and Destiny 2, and thought-provoking topics in the game. We're Guardian Downcast. Your stories, your community, your destiny. Hey, what's up, Guardian? Welcome to episode 263 of Guardian Downcast, the Destiny podcast. Hey, I'm your host, Todd the Gator, and I'm a Day One Guardian who loves gaming and especially the Destiny franchise. In this episode, I have another guest co-host show this week. He's one of the original members of the Guardian Downcast community and came over from the Dad Tales Discord back when we first opened up our Discord community 5 years ago. He's the other Gator from North Carolina, and if you want to hear his original interview with us, check out episode 26. Water shout out of my baritone from January 26th of 2020. My wife and I met him and his family, and I had some dinner out at Disney one night, and we really enjoyed our time spent with him. So please welcome my friend, RNGGator. How's it going, man?
It's going good. How are you doing?
Good, man. I have no words. It's one of those weeks. So, well, speaking of which, here's what we'll be covering today. First, we're going to catch up on our week. I have two more movie reviews, and we'll discuss this week's Ending Echoes Act 2 story. Then, as our topic of the week, it's been another busy time in the Bungie news cycle, and RNG and I will give our opinions on this week's topic surrounding the latest round of Bungie layoffs, and what will this mean for the future of the Destiny game. We'll answer some Discord questions from our community, and we'll play some voicemails as well as our very own Uncle Scumdeath. He left a Scumdeath's Corner for us this week. RNG and I will add some more music to our Guardian Downcast show music playlists on Spotify and Apple Music. The links are always in our show notes down below. Then finally, before I end the show, I have some closing thoughts and my plans on the show going forward. Another jam-packed episode, so let's roll.
Hey, thanks for listening to Guardian Downcast. There are several ways you can contact us. First, you can find us on X at Guardian Downcast. Or you can find us on our Instagram at Guardian Downcast and see what pics and reels Todd the Gator and his podcast guests want to share with you guys. We have a brand new website too. Just visit guardiandowncast.com, where you can find all of our contact info, leave us a voicemail, give our show a rating or review, search for any past episodes, or even give back to our community. Also, don't forget to sign up for future updates to the show, where we'll also have random drawings throughout the year, and you may win a gift card or even some GDC merch. And finally, you can send us an email at guardiandowncast@gmail.com. Our community thrives on interaction, so get involved and check us out. And later, Guardian.
Well, before we get into our topic of the week this week, RNG, how you been, man? How's your week been this week?
Actually, I've had a really pretty good week. Since the last time I've talked to you, we've had to have our downstairs AC completely replaced inside and out because the old... Now, hold on. The one I had outside, we built this house because it's on family land. I've had the downstairs unit for 20-some years.
Whoa.
I had a AC unit last for like 21, 22 years.
Dude, they only last 10
before
years.
I had to have it replaced.
They only last 10 years.
20-some years.
20?
I got 20-some years out of this thing.
Wow.
My father-in-law decided to buy us one because I didn't have the money to replace it. It was about $6,000 because the guy we got to do it could get it for cost. I don't have to pay.
Nice.
Have to pay like the overhead and everything. And he replaced it. And man, my house has been set at like 74 and I ain't had to change it. My house is so cold now.
It's nice.
I mean, it's amazing how much it changed it. I mean,
I'm sure you got that humidity like we do in Florida right now. I know.
Oh yeah, I do, but
it's just as hot, man.
I can walk outside, feel the humidity, walk in my house, and don't feel it at all. When my old unit was running at like 78 on days when they got up in the 90s, my house was 78, 80 degrees at night. It couldn't sleep in it, you know. So, but that's good. I have been got some other good news. I've been interviewing for a job since June. Went through 3 rounds of interviews, 2 on the phone, 1 in person, which took about 4 hours because they had me meet everybody from the managers to the GM at the end. I talked to everybody. They all liked me, and they finally offered me the job last week and gave me an offer this week, and I accepted it. So I'm starting a new job in 2 weeks.
Wait a minute.
It's closer to home.
They like you? How's that possible?
Mm-hmm. Yep, I'm actually good at that. You know, I can bullshit my way around that.
Dude, honestly, congrats, man. That's awesome news. I know you weren't very happy where you were last. You remember we talking about that?
No, I've been at my other job for about 7 years, and I just done with the bull crap. And this job is 15 minutes from my house instead of 40. I was driving 40 minutes one way. I only have 15. I drive back and forth there. I'm less than 1 time going where I'm at now.
Man, that's awesome.
Yeah, nice raise, everything. Nice
save wear and tear on your vehicles, everything. Mm-hmm. Everything goes down. That's good.
Yeah, August 16th could not get here fast enough for it to be my last day.
Dude, that's
only my current job.
That's only a couple of weeks away. Not even.
It's 2 weeks. Yeah, it's 2 weeks. If I actually had done a true 2 weeks, my 2 weeks would have been ended on the 13th. But I wanted a full week, so I have a full week pay. You know, for my last week and everything. Yeah. So, but
that's great. Other news, than that, great news.
Yeah. Other than that, been to see some movies in the last couple of weekends, which we can talk about later. And been playing Destiny. I've been playing.
Well, let's talk about that.
Story.
I played the final story of Act 2. I think you did as well. What'd you think of it, man?
I mean, I like the story. I love the story where it's going through. I just don't like all the fetch quests for the specimens. I don't like what they got us going after doing, because some of that I think they could incorporate into the story as you're doing it. Like pick up the specimen and it's got you getting, you know, certain things. You could do that while you're doing it because you're running the breach executables to do the story and stuff like that. I did like the story this week. I wasn't surprised by who we ran into. I knew that was kind of coming. I've kind of put 2 and 2 together that was going to be, Maya Sundaresh is who we end up running into.
Yeah, Blackbird. I gotta give him a shout out. Blackbird was right. He called it Maya Sundaresh.
Yep. That's why I'd heard rumors of that it was Lakshmi's face, but it's Maya, not Lakshmi, like they thought it was. So, you know, I'm tempted to, I'm excited to see where it goes, but now we get to wait. Instead of 3 weeks, we got 4 weeks because you got Solstice somewhere in between here, which starts next week. So, you know, like I said, I'm enjoying the story. I don't enjoy the specimen quest. I don't like that whole fetch quest of going here and kill, like the one this week where it was get kills with, sidearms or auto rifles. Then it was solar and arc. And then it was like generate orbs. I'm like, this is boring as hell. I'm like, I don't like doing this, but I want to finish the specimen, you know? So.
Yeah, I still haven't fed my frog from last week. It's probably croaked by now. I love that joke. Old dad joke. I gotta throw those in when I can, man. No, I love the cutscene at the end. I tell you what I really love the most about this RNG is the fact that I didn't have to play a Battlegrounds this week. You didn't have to go play anything. You could just go run the story mission on Nessus, right? And, I mean, the voice acting, the story, I mean, it's all pretty predictable. I mean, it is. I can't sugarcoat it. It's very predictable story. And the best part I would say is probably when Maya turned around because Saint called out and said, Lakshmi? And she's like, no. And then Osiris has to remind, I guess he gives like a quick catch up for all of those who didn't listen to those logs over in on Neptune.
On Neomuna.
Neptune, yeah. Yeah, Neomuna. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, that's what I meant.
No, you're good.
And I remember going to those every week and listening to them, and they were pretty in depth. I really enjoyed listening to those. I mean, I kind of wish I would have would have been more dynamic reading them. But I mean, I'll go to a console and press a button. Sure. Why not? Mm-hmm. It's like they ran out of time and didn't know really where to put them. And then, of course, it was nice that Osiris was able to give us like a TLDR version of all those logs, and and how Maya made herself, a version of herself that was
has Lakshmi's face, but it's her conscience in it.
Yeah, exactly. And we've always kind of hinted around that we thought that Lakshmi was Maya Sundaresh in another form. So, now it's confirmed. So there we go. But, it was nice to hear that, voice actor back. I can't remember her name, but she played on a lot of science fiction shows. I can't remember her name.
I don't know it.
I apologize too. If you happen to be listening to the show, I do apologize. I love your voice acting, by the way. Damn it. Now I gotta Google it now. She was in, let's see.
Yeah, a bunch of movies. She's in a bunch of shows and stuff. Yeah.
Maya Sundaresh.
I want to see you.
Oh my God.
See you stumble through this name. Go ahead.
Yeah,
sure,
I really, I'll do it. I really enjoyed the voice actor. I'm glad that, Shohin, I think it's Shohin, Adashlu. I believe that's her name. She's voiced she's actually played other characters, I think in, that one Space Oddity movie that was on, Laz loves it. He loves the novels. It was on Prime Video. The Expanse. Yeah, she was in The Expanse. I love her acting too. So, I'm glad we were able to hear her again. I really like her voice acting and her acting. But when she turned around, that scene where she turns around and you actually see the face, the EXO face and stuff, it was a little chill went down my spine. I thought that was pretty good. She's like, yeah, I'm back, bitches. So, other than that, I mean, kind of pretty predictable, right? I mean, I kind of give Bungie a pass on this first episode. I was really hoping that they would grab people quickly and grab them into the episodic content, because a lot of people probably played Final Shape and Dashed. And the fact that they integrated the episode into Final Shape when it was released on week 2, I figured, see, they're gonna get people hooked right into this episodic content. And no, not at all. It was, very boring so far.
Let's just call a spade. Episodes or seasons. They just renamed them. Yeah. That's all it is.
They're just stretched out. I mean, I've been crying that they should expand the season pass bar. I guess if this is the way I get it, then this is the way I get it. Of course, I've already hit 150 pretty quick on my main, but yeah, I mean, but my alternate
I'm in
accounts,
the 140s, I think 135, 140. Yeah. I'm not far.
Yeah. So, good on you, Blackbird. You called it. And I think a lot of people had already kind of guessed from the lore that Maya was going to be the conductor. So now I guess the final, act is in a few weeks and we're, I guess, going to defeat her. I mean, come on. That's all.
I hope we defeat her.
That's the only way the story ends.
I don't want lingering, because if episode 2 is a totally different story, because we're chasing down another fragment of the Traveler or whatever that was that broke away, finish these people off. Don't let them linger.
You know what? That's what Destiny 1 did. Sorry, Fudd. That's what Destiny did, is they would leave stuff open. So maybe it is a good thing that even if the story's simpler, maybe it is a good idea that they just finish them off, right? Maybe that's good to just end the story.
That way you can make sure that they actually have to write something new.
You have to write something new?
They have to write something new.
Yeah.
As in Bungie.
Well, I figured they didn't have a lot of time, so the second episode is where I'm really going to fully judge episodes. I'm going to kind of give them a pass on this first one, and yes, I know we'll probably defeat her, and we'll probably have to go do some more chores before we finally face her or something. I don't know. We'll need to scan some area or something, but it is what it is. I guess it keeps me checking in every week, so.
Well, I mean, the first season of after a big expansion has always not been good. You take Witch Queen.
That's right.
Defiance wasn't good. You know, you can go through and find all the season right after a big expansion. They've never been great. It's usually the second or third episode or season that kicks in something. So.
Yeah, and that's why I say that, because that's why I give them a pass, because every season has kind of been this way. So is what it is. So yeah, half thumb up for the Act 2 so far.
If you want to go on a scale of 1 to 5, I'd give it a 2.5.
Yeah, it's right there in the middle, isn't it?
Maybe a 3.
Kind of average. Yeah. Maybe a tiny bit above average for that cutscene. But yeah. What else you been doing, man?
College football. Been playing, started up Mass Effect 2 with Fudd and them. I was on his podcast to talk about Mass Effect 1, so I fired up Mass Effect 2 this week. Started playing it. College football. I just finished my first season with the Gators, and I lost one game. I lost to Miami beginning of the season, and
what world did we lose against Miami?
I lost by 3 points because I was still learning. I was just learning the game.
Oh, okay.
But after that, I got better at it, and I pretty much reeled off. I didn't lose another game the rest of the season. Beat Utah in the national championship, and now I'm starting my second season. So,
dude, I played so much US. What is it? What's the actual title of it? I used to play Madden, but then when the college football games came out on PlayStation in the early days, man, I played
NCAA football.
I used to play so much, but didn't they quit making them for a while?
Yeah, 10 years. This is the first game in 10 years.
So this is
NCAA 14. NCAA 14 was the last one. This is college football 25.
I might have to get it.
They only made it. They made it for PS5 and Xbox. It's not made for PC.
I might
just
get this.
The next gen consoles. Oh, it's worth it. I promise you. If you
I've been seeing you playing. I'm like, I remember those days when I would play games. I would play whole seasons.
Oh, that's what I did. I mean, that's what I've done. It's played the whole season now.
Awesome, man.
It takes me a little bit longer, but yeah, it's interesting. The atmosphere is like playing the game at Ben Hill Griffin Stadium.
Right,
is so cool.
Is it very detailed?
Sound, everything.
Like you're right there.
Yes.
Oh man.
Yes.
I've sat in that stadium.
Yeah, you'll hear the music playing and everything, and the crowd gets into it, and it makes stuff shake, and yeah, and you go to other places and play. Yeah, it is a lot of fun.
This is how much history I have with the University of Florida. My dad went to that college game when Steve Spurrier was quarterback.
Good Lord.
Yeah, my dad went to school there when Steve Spurrier was quarterback. Yeah, man, that Ben Hill Griffin Stadium has a lot of history. I love that town. I have a puzzle put together of Ben Hill Griffin Stadium that I have framed. I just haven't hung it up yet. Nice, man. Nice.
So I glued it to a picture frame.
So many good memories, man. Good memories in that stadium. Basketball stadium too. When I went to school there, remember Dwayne Shemsis?
I don't follow him that much in basketball.
I was there when the big center Dwayne Shemsis was there. We used to go into the basketball arena there is awesome too. It's a great school. I still
remember. I'm still mad at my wife because we were close to Gainesville one year traveling to Tampa. I said, let's go this way. This goes to Gainesville. We can stay the night. I can get up in the morning and we can go see the stadium and stuff and then drive on to Tampa because we wasn't that far away from Tampa, you know.
Yeah, you just walk the campus, man. It's a gorgeous walk.
They didn't want to, the people with me didn't want to do it, her family and stuff, so I didn't get to go. And I was like, I was that close.
What to go to a game one time. When you fly down here,
love to go
see a game. I can get tickets. Awesome, man. Well, I have a couple movie reviews this week. Well, first, before my movie reviews, I watched the opening ceremony of the Paris Summer Olympics. Are you into the Summer Olympics?
Oh, I love the Olympics. I've been watching it every day. Well, this week I've been working from home. I have Peacock, so I put it on and just watch the coverage in the morning while I'm working. I have it playing on my computer.
Well, I wish I could tell you I watched all of them, but I usually just watch the nightly news, and they give them full medal counts, and they give all the highlights of who did well for USA and stuff. And I guess the French swimmer won gold today. That was good. That was good to hear. Mm-hmm. It's good to see. I was host city.
If I was at work, I wouldn't be able to watch it. So I'd have to catch up at night. But
I watched the opening ceremony, and man, was it long! I was up till 4:30 in the morning.
Yes, it was.
I was up till 4:30 in the morning because I recorded it on my my DVR with YouTube TV, and I said, I'm watching it. I'm finishing this.
I watched it.
I'm finishing this damn opening ceremony, then I'll say I've watched it and I'm done with it. If I look at the clock, it's 4:30 in the morning. I'm like, this sucks. Tomorrow's going to suck.
They started it. I watched it live and I was at work because there wasn't nothing going on. So I pulled it up on my phone and had it playing. Was listening. It started at like 1 o'clock our time.
Yeah.
I got off work, drove home. It was still going. It was like close to 6 o'clock before that thing was done. That's how long it was.
Yeah, it was long. I didn't think it'd be that long, but I tell you, it was well worth the ending. It was awesome. Celine Dion singing on top of the Eiffel Tower. I mean, she's been having problems with her voice and stuff. That was so awesome to hear, man.
Yeah, I mean, she didn't have neurological problems.
I mean, it was probably lip synced, but still, I mean, it looked just like she was singing it. But,
I don't know.
You think she was singing it? It looked pretty real.
I think the words, not understanding the words she's saying because I don't know French.
Yeah.
But the power behind the words, even if it was lip sync, was just awesome. Yeah, it was great.
If it was lip sync, she did a very good job lip syncing it because it felt real. But it just kind of sucked the whole day. It was just drizzling rain. But you know what? It didn't even phase any of the performances. I loved it. Kudos to them for the French people for just sticking with it. You know, we're used to rain. Show must go on. And people didn't even flinch, man. It was awesome.
No, they didn't.
So, that's really the one thing I look forward to on the Summer Olympics is I always watch the opening ceremony, but unfortunately, I just don't have the time to keep a track of everyone, you know, all the athletes and stuff. But, track and field, baby. Track and field this week. I'm really into that stuff.
It just started tonight.
Yep.
So
I'm really excited to watch that because I always that's the one thing I did watch as a kid was track and field. So, season 2 of House of Dragons. I'm on the second to last episode. The last episode is this Sunday. Some badass dragon fights in there and it's really, really getting good. You know, it started really slow, but I'm really liking this season 2. It's really good. Shh. Movie review. All right. So I have 2 movie reviews this week. The first one is Fly Me to the Moon. I actually watched this with my parents a couple weekends ago, but we had our roundtable episode last week. And again, a shout out to Soccer OG, Technical, and Zombie Pops for joining me last week on the roundtable. We really had some great topics, and I thought it was overall a very good show, except for the last part where this guy had a fever dream about Destiny 3, and we'll get into that. But I thought it was a good show. I really love doing those roundtables, and we have another one coming up. It's going to be a lot different than what people are used to. So if everyone shows up that I booked, it's going to be really good. Really, really good. So that'll be sometime the latter part of August. We'll have that one. I did play some comp with Warcry and did some 6s actually with some of the members of the community. Shout out to NS Ripsaw. Of course, my buddy Warcry, Steel Zealot. We were kind of hanging around BS and having a good time. Good and bad games, you know, it's Crucible, but overall a good time. So I did see Fly Me to the Moon, Scarlett Johansson, Channing Tatum, and Woody Harrelson. 65% from critics and 91% from audience. It's about an ambitious advertising agent, which Scarlett plays, who was approached from a high-level secret government agency, which Woody Harrelson played, to promote the space program and also to create a backup fake moon landing, just in case the real one failed. And of course, the story isn't that cut and dry, and I won't spoil anything, but it was really good. It was a good, entertaining movie. For a date night movie, Tatum and Johansson, they really had good chemistry, I thought, and it worked. It worked. It's a good story, lots of laughs. I give it 3.5 stars. It was a good movie. Good, solid movie. And, of course, the one that we both watched this week is Deadpool and Wolverine. Hugh Jackman and Ryan Reynolds. 79% certified fresh. 96% audience from Rotten Tomatoes. That's always a score I go by the way. What a new concept to a Marvel film. It's like Disney said, you know what? We're going to let our hair down, embrace the money, baby. The F-bombs and the pegging references. When I heard the pegging reference at the beginning of the movie, it was a shock. I think the whole audience that was with me was like, what? Oh my God. This is going to be that kind of movie. It's not the typical Marvel movie, guys. All the cameos, the references made in the film were fantastic, all throughout the movie. And it's like the film was not afraid to make fun of itself, which I like that. And they even make fun of the multiverse. Remember that part? Sean Levy, thank you. Thank you for letting the actors do what they wanted on this film because, It's not, the story's a typical cookie cutter save the world story, which I didn't even care about that part. It was just the entertainment of Ryan Reynolds, which would continually break down the fourth wall and talk right to the audience. Like he knows we're watching and listening. And, of course, the star power didn't disappoint. It's already grossed $200 million at the box office in the first week in the U.S. alone. I tell you what, if Disney releases more Marvel movies like this in the future, I'm in. And I tell you what, a good litmus test for a Marvel movie for me is my wife went with me and she liked it. So she hates Marvel movies. And I was able to talk her into going to this probably because Ryan Reynolds was in it, but,
and Hugh Jackman.
And my God, all of the Easter eggs, all of the adult references in this movie, and it's rated R.
Well, that was the first thing. Yeah, if Disney didn't let it make it rated R, because the first two Deadpool movies were R rated, if you didn't make it rated R, it would have killed the movie. That's the way Deadpool has been. He's been like that through the first two.
I thoroughly enjoyed this one. 4 solid stars. This was a very good movie.
Oh yeah. It was one movie that almost towards the end, when I knew it was getting ready to end, I was like, I want to buy tickets again and go watch it. I want to watch it again. I want to watch it again and see what I missed the first time. Now that I know what happens, let me watch for other stuff.
I heard you say that on Guardian Hub for this last week. You were on their episode.
It was just, I loved it. My face was hurting from laughing so much.
It was. I laughed a lot.
I'm trying not to give much away because I know some people still haven't seen this. We're going to the second weekend, but that movie it didn't care. It made fun of what it wanted to make fun of, and it doesn't matter. And I love that. Yeah. So I know we're not going to get every movie like that because every movie's not going to break the fourth wall because Deadpool's a special character. So I'd like to see with what he did in the movie and the way it ended, how is it going to affect is it going to affect anything else after this with the direction they want to go?
I got a question for you. I actually had to use the bathroom so bad, and I actually walked out at the very end of the movie where he gets back with his blind friend. And, I was trying to get back in time. And then there was another guy in the hallway looking too, because he was trying to hold it too, so he could see the ending. I missed the ending. Was there a cutscene? Was there a post cutscene?
Yeah, there was stuff during, did you not stay through the credits and everything?
I missed it. My wife walked out and said, I said, what happened? She goes, just ended.
There's two things in the credits.
Don't tell me. Cause I'm going to watch it on Disney when it comes out.
One is a flashback of stuff.
Okay.
And then there's something after the credits roll.
It's about the future.
It has to do with something that happened in the movie with Human Torch.
Oh.
So.
Okay.
That's all I'll say.
My God, the time when Captain America just took his skin right off. Oh my God. Dude.
That wasn't Captain America. That was Human Torch.
I know, but it was like the,
Hush.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. You're right. I don't want to spoil too much.
I'm not giving it away.
No, that's a good call. My God, Dan, that was funny as hell. There were kind of references to Loki a little bit in there too. I loved it.
Oh yeah. You had the time variant. You had the whole people he was working for, the TVA. Yeah. So
yeah, that was a good movie. I'll remember that one. And, damn, Ron Reynolds, man, he is just his timing is impeccable for those comedic relief parts. It's just,
Him and Hugh Jackman work great together. They speed off each other. And the dog.
Yes. The dog. The most ugly dog in the world.
Deadpool dog or whatever they called him. The ugliest dog in the world.
The ugliest dog.
Yeah.
Hey, you know what?
They were so cute.
Did you hear the story how this movie got put together? Hugh Jackman was, I heard his interview. Hugh Jackman was driving down Hollywood Boulevard or wherever in California they live. And he looked up and saw a Deadpool sign somewhere, and he says, "You know what? I need to do a movie with this guy." He says, "I'm thinking Wolverine's not retired," and he got with Ryan Reynolds and says, "I know you're in the middle of stuff. You're shooting a bunch of stuff. You're busy as hell right now, but we need to make this happen." And Hugh Jackman's the one that actually made this movie happen. And then of course they got with Sean Levy, and it was just wow. What talent!
I want to find myself. If I could find myself a copy of the movie right now, I'd watch it again.
I tell you, man.
Yeah, I can watch Deadpool movies anytime they come on. Exactly. I love them all.
Exactly. I'm going to go see Trap this weekend from M. Night Shyamalan. I always get his name backwards. But of course, we have our / hurricane tropical storm bearing down on Florida by Sunday and Monday. So I'm going tomorrow to see it, Saturday as we're recording this. But I tell you what, man, August has some bangers. Alien Romulus comes in a couple weeks. Actually, the date that you get your new hire. Borderlands next week.
Yep.
Blink Twice. That's another Channing movie about this billionaire who invites these people to his private island.
What is that one about?
Yeah, it look. I saw the previews in the theater. It looked really good. That's August 23rd.
I haven't seen a trailer for that one. All I've seen is the poster in my theater, but no trailer.
These beautiful women get invited to this like big party on this private island by this billionaire, and he's like surrounded by all these beautiful women, and they keep forgetting. They keep having lapses in memory of what happened. They just end up in. It's really weird. It's more of a mental thriller. So I'm gonna watch it. It's gonna be good. I have Joker Part 2's coming out in October. Beetlejuice coming out in September.
Yep.
So yeah, we got some good movies coming in. Some good movies.
Have you seen the trailer for the James McAvoy one where he invites the people there in Europe?
Yes.
Have you seen that?
Yes.
Oh my God.
That looked good.
He plays
I'm not
a character
doctor.
like that.
You said you were a doctor.
Damn.
I'm not a doctor.
He plays a character like that so dang well.
What that
it
movie's
reminds me
called.
of Split. It reminds me of the movie he did called Split, where he had two personalities. It reminds me of that.
That's what he does, man. That's what he does well. Those crazy psycho movies.
Yeah. I want to see that movie. That movie, I can't remember what the name of it is.
I can't.
But that movie looks so interesting.
I want to think it's like called The Visitor or something. I don't know. I did see the preview for that though. So I'm sure that'll be on my list when it comes closer. I think that's coming in September or something. But
Speak No Evil. That's the name of it.
Speak No Evil.
Speak No Evil.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Because the boy goes to scream and you can tell he's got his tongue cut off because he can't talk.
Wow.
If you look closely when he opens his mouth to scream, there's no tongue there. Next time you watch the trailer, look closely. There's no tongue because he looks at the girl and makes that cutting thing like he cut off my tongue.
Nice, man.
So,
anything else? Anything else you want to talk about this week? What's been going on?
Nope. That's it. That's pretty much been my week.
That's all I got too, man. That's all I got too. So, all right. Well, I don't think we can avoid it any longer, man. Topic of the week is next.
Hey, Guardian. Whenever I listen to my favorite podcasts, there's one thing that annoys me the most. You're really getting into the flow of the conversation when out of nowhere...
Have you had that feeling of missing out in Destiny? Do you avoid your friends while hiding away on the Cosmodrome farming Glimmer? Ghost away your symptoms with Controverse Hold. A nade a day keeps the witness away. Whenever getting that feeling of Destiny-itis, eat that grenade, boy, and bam. Say goodbye to those feelings of weakness and say hello to ultimate joy. Side effects include fatigue, headache, sore throat, anal leakage, and overwhelming feelings of invincibility. See your doctor for details.
Podcast ads really disrupt the natural flow of a great conversation. But thanks to our Patreon community, we don't accept outside advertising or promotion. So sit back and enjoy the show. Oh, and by the way, if you would like to become a part of listener-supported podcasts like this one, go to patreon.com/supportguardiandowncast or just visit our website at guardiandowncast.com. You'll also have access to over 2 years of audio and video episodes just for our Patreon community. Take care, and later, Guardian.
All right, topic of the week. Not a good week for Bungie, guys. Social media has been a buzz. From YouTube to Twitter to Reddit, and it's just been, not the best news this week. Here I am talking about the feature of a Destiny 3 game in the roundtable last week, and my timing, as usual, is impeccable. So we got it all started out with a tweet from Pete Parsons, the founder and CEO of Bungie. July 31st. He says, "This morning I'm sharing with you all of the most difficult changes we've ever had to make as a studio due to the rising cost of development and industry shifts, as well as enduring economic conditions. It's become clear that we need to make substantial changes to our cost structure and focus development efforts entirely on Destiny and Marathon." Well, here's a TLDR version. 220 people are gone. They got supposedly some nice severance packages. That's 17% of the studio. That's a pretty good hit right off the bat. To make matters worse, they had 75 people on an incubator for another game. I believe it was, now that we've dug deeper into it here, that other game was supposedly Payback, which, from what I believe, from everything I've been reading and listening to, and apparently Noseworthy and Luke Smith were part of that program. So they are now gone from Bungie. This was the most shocking part for me this week. I guess that restraining order is not as valuable anymore. But I think Kingsley said I need to sell all my robes now. Anyway, so yeah, he tweeted this out on the 31st, and not only 220 people were laid off, just flat out went home. An additional 155 of the studio, which is 12% of the Bungie studio, has been integrated into new roles at Sony. So all of that talent basically has been absorbed by Sony, which I saw this coming. Total staff of Bungie now is at 850 employees. And if you do the math, that's about 40% of the reduction total of no longer at Bungie. So they said the basis for all this, what most people are saying, is gross mismanagement by upper management and inflated staff. He says, just some highlights here. He says, for over 5 years, it's been our goal to ship games in 3 enduring global franchises. To realize that ambition, we set up several incubation projects, each seeded with senior development leaders from our existing teams. We eventually realized that this model stretched our talent too thin, too quickly, you think? It also forced our studio support structures to scale to a larger level than we could realistically support, given our 2 primary products in development, Destiny and Marathon. Additionally, he talks about in 2023 about they had a lot of rapid expansion. They basically were going full steam ahead. And then, of course, the sharp downturn in the games industry, which also combined with the fact that Destiny 2 Lightfall missed its mark, and the fact that they needed to give Final Shape and Marathon more time, which cost more money. So they wanted to make sure that those were delivered at the players' expected quality. And he basically said we were overly ambitious. Our financial safety margins were subsequently exceeded, and we began running into the red. He did not state, Pete Parsons, I'm talking about, did not state that he will be stepping down as CEO. And it's been revealed that he spent lots of money on classic cars, and I think I heard today a $4 million desk or something. I don't know. But also, we heard today, and this was probably the biggest news that hit today, is the Jason Schreier article from Bloomberg. And he basically repeated everything that we just talked about the fact that, about the layoff numbers and stuff. And that a lot of people are not very happy with Pete Parsons right now. He failed to take accountability for his own bad bets, and he'd been overly optimistic in his communication with the staff. Some said Parsons and other company leaders spoke of Bungie magic, quote unquote, a confident mantra similar to the ones preached by other elite video game studios like BioWare and Arcane Magic. They tried to reach out to Bungie. No one commented on that aspect of it. And then he goes into, the past of how Bungie was first started and the release of Destiny in 2014. And, a lot of companies expanded. They're talking about in early 2022 during the era of low interest rates and strong post-COVID sales across the industry. Sony purchased Bungie for $3.6 billion and, looked at Destiny 2 as a model for growing its ambition in the live service games. Flush with cash, Bungie hired hundreds of new staff members and pursued myriad incubation projects, including mobile versions of Destiny, remakes of old games, and new franchises. And here's the part that I wanted to make sure I talked about here. During one grim meeting in late 2023, according to the Bungie Familiar, Parsons told staff that the company had missed its revenue targets by 45%. I think we all heard about that, and was losing money. Some in the inside the studio that did not want to identify themselves said that if Sony did not buy out Bungie, they would be insolvent. That's how bad things were running, I guess. They said both Marathon and Destiny 2 received new leadership at Sony's studio video game unit. If you remember with Jim Ryan, I think he was really pushing for the live service games with Sony, had stepped down. Sony actually, its video game unit actually replaced its CEO, which was Jim Ryan, and laid off 900 people in that same year. So, but here's the thing. Earlier this year, Sony Interactive Entertainment Chairman Hiroki Totoki, hope I said that right, publicly criticized Bungie, saying he wanted to see more accountability. And the employees were hopeful that the extra time on the final shape would lead to a great product, and the expansion received rave reviews. But the critical acclaim had little impact on the deeper cuts that were already in the works at Bungie, as GameFile's Stephen Totilo reported on Thursday. It's just sad all around here. One of Bungie's big bets was Payback, an incubation product set in the Destiny universe that would shake up the formula in major ways, according to people familiar. It would pivot from a first-person to a third-person perspective and allow players to use the franchise's characters to explore a large world while cooperating to battle monsters and solve puzzles. The pitch took elements from the popular games such as Warframe and Genshin Impact. And although several internet rumors over the last few months suggested that Payback would be the sequel to Destiny 2, it was a significant departure from the previous two games, according to the people familiar, and would have been perceived more as a spin-off game. But 2 months ago, Bungie canceled Payback to prioritize games that were more imminent, moving the bulk of its team to Marathon, which is targeting a release in 2025. The company also plans to continue updating Destiny 2, although it will no longer pursue regular paid expansions as it did in the past, according to people familiar. During one recent meeting, a company leader told attendees that sales of each expansion had declined year over year, including June's The Final Shape. So they would be moving away from an annual release model. Some staff said they were optimistic about the vision for Destiny 2 under the new director Tyson Green, a Bungie veteran who took the helm earlier this year. In the coming months, the people said Bungie will look to retain and attract players with smaller scale content drops modeled after Into the Light, a well-received update in April that added a new mode to the game. Rather than selling this content, they said, Bungie will aim to release it as free along with overhauls to activities that it hopes will appeal to hardcore players. Other vague plans for the future include a storyline that will feature characters in worlds that Destiny has not yet explored. That's probably Frontiers. Fans have wondered if Bungie might one day start anew with a Destiny 3, but such a project had not been in development, according to the people familiar. Bungie is instead looking to create a smoother onboarding process for Destiny 2, such as rebranding, to attract new players who might be turned off by a game that can now feel impenetrable to those unfamiliar and its ample proper nouns. So those that left Bungie will now have to make do with a smaller staff, tighter schedules, and a company that looks significantly different than it did 3 days ago. And he mentions here again that Luke Smith and Mark Noseworthy are also some of the people who left. Higher level executives also were laid off, by the way, not just the regular roles, which I think varied from player support, some of the story, some of the writers, the dialogue and dialogue teams, people who come up with the stories and dialogue in the game.
Like the game design people and the engineers, like the marketing, the social media, they let go all those. There's a Reddit post you can go in and see who they let go, the running.
Okay. That's all right. I'll spare everyone that, but
I'm looking at it.
You want to mention it? Yeah. What other areas did they,
I mean, they let audio people go, Luke Smith, Mark Noseworthy. They let the narrative team, narrative leads go, narrative designers go, game developers. They let IT people go, like an IT engineer, a systems engineer, game design people, which were like QA, balance testers, associate testers, raid and dungeon test engineers. Illustration people, player support, senior activity, PvP producer got let go. Marketing people got let go. Lead video, international communications, marketing and publishing, capture artists, a capture manager, social media team. They let part-time remote community managers go, merch and product design, associate producer, a CRM lead, unknown social media position. And then they let environmental art people go, tech artists, they cut a lot of people out of it. Like when you go to the music side of it, they let I think the whole music team is like that made your music for Final Shape and everything are just gone.
Wow.
So anybody had,
It almost feels like they went from team to team and said, who can we get rid of? It feels like it's pretty representative of a lot of teams across the board, doesn't it? To you? It looks like it looks like a total haircut, like a straight haircut.
Yeah, to me, it feels like it's like they did during COVID. Like, remember when during COVID, Bungie kept pushing out or hiring. If you're in these states, you can work remote, and they pushed it. And I actually looked at it and thought about applying, but I never found a job that fit me. Thank God, because I probably wouldn't be working there no more. I'd probably be fired. But, and I had some friends that did. I said, that sounds great. I said, but just remember that everybody's doing that right now because of COVID and everything. Everybody's hiring because nobody can go into office and work because, they wasn't allowed to go nowhere. I said, the people are going to overhire, and other companies have done it too. They've overhired, and then when COVID stopped and stuff didn't keep escalating or having enough people do it, they had to start letting them go. And this is what you're seeing.
See, another thing too, RNG, I think, the reason a lot of the games industry is really suffering right now is because money's not cheap anymore. Getting short-term loans to cover, spans of time until a game comes out, that money's expensive now, and they just can't afford the payments. It's too expensive. So the fact that, the capital's dried up for a lot of these, even some of the smaller studios out there. And I think this is the reason why a lot of companies have cut back, is I think what's the most expensive asset in your company? It's employment. It's your employees. That's the quickest way to cut the budget and get within limits of what they can afford as far as their budget going forward. Hey everyone, Future Todd the Gator here. Man, there has been so much information coming out after we recorded our show on Friday. There's one more article I wanted to share here, and it's from one of our community members in the Destiny community, and that is Mr. Paul Tassi, the senior contributor to Forbes. And I will put the link to this article in our show notes down below. But I really wanted to share this because it really sheds some light on the future of Destiny 3, or a future of Destiny. The title of the article is Future Clarity on Destiny 2 Frontiers, Destiny 3, and the State of Bungie. Again, this is from Paul Tassi, senior contributor of Forbes. In the wake of Bungie's mass layoffs and transfer of roles to Sony, the future of Destiny 2 and other projects remains unclear. The official line from Bungie is that nothing about announced plans has changed, which means 2 Destiny episodes, Frontiers after that, and Marathon in 2025. Further reporting has dug into what precisely is happening next, and I'll try to add to that with additional content and context and clarification from conversations with sources familiar with the situation. It is certainly possible things don't come to pass as things change. First thing he talks about here is the future Destiny plans. Paul states that the larger content packs, though not true expansions, will contain familiar elements like new destinations, raids, and campaigns, just much smaller scale on a whole, Shadowkeepish size maybe, though not the same format. A goal is developing more replayable, unique activities like the coil. If we are leaving the system, which is his speculation, this is where we'd see those new worlds to visit. I am not sure if this is free. That will be the main release of a given year, I believe, starting with Frontiers launch, and then 6 months later there will be another, quote, pack of smaller content that's more something along the lines of what we got with Into the Light. This should be free. Between these, there may be something akin to current episodes, though the scale and schedule is not clear. Generally speaking, the idea is less sprawling, one-off campaigns, and greater focus on replayable activities, the, quote, hobby aspects. With the new Frontiers format, there aren't widespread updates that will hit every facet of the game at once like the most expansions used to do. It will be less than players are used to, not to say there will be not be things worth playing. And then he goes into the canceled projects and the speculation of Destiny 3. He says some elements of Payback seem to be shaping up well. The third-person adventure spin-off shooter Luke and Mark are working on, for instance. I have not heard anyone say that it was a flat-out bad idea or terrible in practice, even if the concept sounded like a significant departure for the series. He's heard multiple people say that of all projects, Gummy Bear seems to be the most promising, the game that is going over to Sony under the new team. It has MOBA and Smash Brothers fighting game elements and is supposed to be very fun. He also says that Destiny 3 was and considered too big of a risk in the current market. The idea was instead to split up Destiny as an IP into more manageable components. The PvE portion, now continuing in Destiny 2, payback for an adventure genre expansion, a mobile Destiny game from NetEase, and spinning out a separate 3v3 Crucible game channeling Trials. It appears none of these is happening now, alongside Destiny 3 never being in production in the first place. There are no plans to just shutter Destiny. However, the long-term rebranding remains unclear, but it is D2's, quote, Frontiers content only for the indefinite future, and Marathon remains the big thing right now going into 2025. He says one of Destiny's biggest ongoing issues is that its player base is skewing much older than everyone wants to see, which is worrisome to higher-ups. You want to attract a younger crowd, and that was no longer happening, hence the desire for new projects like Marathon and Gummy Bears. And another reason as to why no Destiny 3. He goes on and talks about what's going on internally with Bungie. He says everyone does not trust leadership at all, but leadership does not really seem to understand that. And some actually believe this week in this situation went well, considering. The sheer amount of stuff that was done for the final shape was massive. Story was rewritten multiple times. Missions redesigned multiple times. During the delay, they built a colossal amount of new content, such as Dread, Dual Destiny, and the Verity encounter. Also the exotic class items, Ergo Sum, and the GM Excision. The reason being is that the studio was told the expansion was, quote, make or break, and now they all feel lied to for obvious reasons. Now the new mantra is that Marathon is make or break for the studio. Another thing he said it was going on internally is the new player onboarding experience remains bad because the team who did the Cosmodrome / Shaw Han stuff got one crack at it, and then essentially no one ever tried anything of significance again. That may change with future plans. And they did mention in the Jason Schreier article that they were going to be rebranding and appealing to more of a newer player base going into the game. He also said that Bungie is essentially tied to games as a service forever. Nothing single player. Matter was not a live service first-person shooter, so that is part of the reason it was axed. Many departments have been gutted after layoffs. Much of QA is outsourced to people who are unfamiliar with even basics of the game. He also says everything has been divided up into strike teams now, even individual missions and activity modifiers. They are dissolved and then reform again. Speculation is that higher-ups saw that the players liked when they called things strike teams, so now there are 1 million strike teams. Even with updates, many tools are exhausting to use and everything takes forever. And if Destiny 2 content is still being added, there will indeed be more vaulting for technical reasons alone, though whether the, quote, no more expansion content vaulting rule applies is unclear. Like when things were bad during the pre-final shape layoffs, those that remain are confident in the actual work they're doing and believe they can make great things. This was an important statement right here. He feels that internally the developers at Bungie are hoping for community support as they continue to work, which is different than approving of leadership. I, for one, am happy to keep cheering them on. So that was the article from Paul Tassi. It just came out today on Saturday, and I just want to make sure I shared this as part of our show for this episode coming out on Monday. So as I'm talking on a Saturday night, as this article came out earlier today on August 3rd. So back to your normally scheduled podcasting. See you later.
Hey y'all, this is Sin from the Guardian Hub Podcast, the best hub on the net, and you're listening to the Guardian Downcast, the best cast on the net.
Yeah, I'll Venmo you that later. What do you think all this, man? I mean, that's all the information. That the Jason Schreier article was the one I was really holding out for because I wanted to see. There were a couple things in there I wanted to talk about, but anything you want to start off mentioning here?
I mean, in the Jason Schreier article, I mean, none of that. No, I mean, yeah, I mean, to me, it's just is what it is. I would kind of wish people would quit witch hunting Pete Parson. I'm not defending him because he did go and do some stupid stuff and spent the money the wrong way, but we don't need to go after the person that spent all this money. That's not going to solve anything. It's not going to get their people their jobs back. So,
yeah,
I mean, it's just what needs to be done is a more change in general in the game industry. I mean, I hate to say it, they need something like a union or something. They need it. Something to protect these people so this crap doesn't happen to them again. And the way I see it. So, I mean, like, I think it's Dan Finnity's got a video he runs. He posted on Twitter that he's going to run during his like ads and stuff with links on here. You can help these people, but we should be that way. Not just the Bungie people, any of these people that are losing their jobs.
Yeah.
Like that. We should always be out there to help if you can help them find another job or whatever. So
yeah, I agree. I really saw this coming, man. I think this is just
I'm not shocked. Yeah.
This is just phase 2 of cuts that were already in stone when they signed over to Sony on the acquisition deal. I think this was already planned. I'm thinking part of the terms of the agreement were that Sony was hands off until after the final shape was released, so long as they hit, certain expense parameters, and I think that's the reason they had phase 1 of layoffs. And if you remember, Sony had nothing to do with those layoffs. It was all done in-house from Bungie, from the upper management. And I think if you remember, there weren't many upper managers that left. It was mainly lower level designers and developers and, people who are working day in and day out to create this game. I think they said, listen, I think Sony went and said, listen, all right, we'll be hands off until you get final shape out. But here's your budget. You got to make sure you match it and you can't go over it. And I think that's where they had phase 1 of layoffs. And then now this is basically, I really think this layoff was, it might not have been written in stone at that exact time. But if you remember, the boss, the head for PlayStation, or, the head for PlayStation, I believe, if you remember he went back before the final shape came out. He did like a little tour and a little, like a little audit of the studio to just see where everything was. And he was not impressed. And he saw all this extra waste and all this, inflated numbers and spending. And I'm sure the Japanese culture of Sony, I'm sure is very, very disciplined. I mean, that's the reason why Sony's still here after all these years. They have to have a good model for running their business. And I think what happened is, that lead went right back to the Sony heads and said, listen, this is the problem. This is what we need to fix. And then I think, like I said, in final shape, even though people love this game and it's probably one of the best expansions they've ever released, which is debatable, but it was very good, very well done. I think it still wasn't enough. And, Sony had to step in, they were tired of babysitting. It was time to step in. It's their company now. I don't see Bungie having much control going into the future here. And it's unfortunate, man, because, Bungie's always been known as rule breakers and nonconformists. If you look at the history of their game development and their development studio, they were the ones that kind of broke the rules and kind of were I don't want to say hippies, but they were probably pretty laid back in their studio, but they were talented people, man. And, I just think, now that let's think about it here. They were with Activision, or no, before that they were with Microsoft. They broke off and broke free from Microsoft. Yay. Well, then they realized, hey, we can't swim in this ocean by ourselves. We gotta get back. Someone's gotta buy us back. And that's when Activision stepped in. But Activision, they're used to making Call of Duty games. They wanted those annual releases like they do Call of Duty. And Bungie couldn't do it, man. They couldn't do it. So what do? Sony buys their freedom again. And at least it lasts a little bit longer this time. But I think just like that article said from Jason Schreier, if they didn't have the Bungie deal, they probably would not be in business right now. And that would be like game over. I mean, if they can't even keep the servers on, then that hurts everybody. So if anything, Sony's the savior here, because if they can't pay their bills, then, can't keep the servers on, then who cares how things have been managed? It's just game over. We all lose it. We all lose. It's lose-lose.
Mm-hmm. I mean, no matter which way you look at it, Sony can be the savior and the one to kill Destiny off too. Like the point of just saying, hey, we're done. We're not putting any more money into this. It's done. They could easily do that.
Yeah. And, man, I really feel for all these wonderful people that work there. I mean, no one wants to think they have no control over their job security. It has to be a terrible feeling. And I really hope all the employees find their path in life and whatever they decide or love to do. I mean, hell, that's what we all strive to do, right? Is to have fun at work.
I mean, I was reading through tweets that were coming out from people that were let go. And, some of them were saying like, I moved to Washington to take this job that I thought was going to be my, dream job. And now I'm fired and I'm away from my family and everything in another state. I mean, that's a chance these people took. I mean, I understand that could happen and it sucks for them. And the other thing I have a thing with and talking about, they're going to release like Into the Light type stuff. Into the Light was fun for like a couple weeks. I got bored with that, running that horde mode over and over after a while. But I went on to other games, so they're going to make their money now. You go make money off of, Jason Schreier tweeted, that their money is going to come from season passes and dungeon keys. So, oh boy, that's where it's going to come from. Well, if it's free, you're going to have to pay for the season pass. It's going to be like Fortnite. You buy the season. This season comes out. The stuff's free. If you want the season pass, you paid for it to get the extra content. That's what you do.
Well, it beats expansions, $100 expansions every year. I don't know.
Yeah, but if they don't, it depends on what they put out. If they put out crap that's like Into the Light, that's cool. And you're trying, and in that message, he's talking about Into the Light, something to keep hardcore people playing. That Into the Light stuff wasn't going to keep hardcore people around after a while.
Whoa. I got it. Now I got to comment on Into the Light. I thought that was Into the Light. Think about it. Think about it here, RNG. First, they give everyone these awesome weapons that we all loved from the past, which, yes, old content, recycled content, whatever term you want to give it. But it was awesome that you could focus these weapons and just go play and get them to drop, and I love that part. That's the part I grinded hardcore. And I guess that makes me a hardcore gamer because that's what I loved about Into the Light. Now the Pantheon stuff, those addressed all your hardcore raiders, right? Like Kingsley and all the guys over Guardian Hub that love running raids all the time. It fit their style. I mean, I think Dado today said that he loved Pantheon. He thought it was the greatest thing. But then what else did they do? They gave us 3 new maps for Crucible. Into the Light to me was very timely and was very well done because it addressed all the players of Destiny. It gave think about it. It gave everybody, all the different kinds of players in the Destiny, player base. It gave everybody something to do. And, I loved it. And now they're bringing it back, where you can go to Zavala and you can start, attuning weapons again. I mean, Onslaught probably took a big dive. Everyone's playing other stuff and, they're trying to get people back. So they gotta, throw out a bone and we'll see. I got everything I wanted. So.
Yeah, but by saying once you got everything you want, you're out.
Yeah, but that's it took, I get that, but it took a long time.
But you take these people who absorb it quicker than me and you do that have more time to do it.
Sure.
I get that. But you also have to look at, the Pantheon thing. They rolled that in with Into the Light. You could have rolled that out anytime you want to. That really wasn't, I don't count that as something part of Into the Light. That's just some new thing they did, but it was a one-time thing. Yeah, it was nice. I didn't touch it. Not my thing. The 3 PvP maps, not my thing. I just don't think unless they make these next 2 episodes after the one we're in actually are good, I don't see me playing this game nowhere near as much as I used to. I just don't.
They did say that there weren't going to be any delays on anything that's already in the pipeline. It's going to be business as usual going forward with the episodes, and I'm going to have an open mind. I mean, they mentioned Solstice, I think, was coming out, and the August patch was still coming.
Coming out Tuesday.
Coming out this week.
Tuesday.
Is the August patch coming out Tuesday too?
I don't know. We've had no TWID this week, so we don't know. We got no information about it.
And they did that out of respect for the employees. They didn't want them employees to have to type out a TWID.
Unless they're going to release something on like Monday talking about it before it comes out Tuesday or early Tuesday before it
might have a trailer
comes out. But here's my thing. Solstice. If it's the same crap of going to the EDZ and doing the same stuff we did last year, I'm not playing it. I'm going to go play college football. I'm going to go play Mass Effect. The seasonal things need to change. They need to change them. The same crap every year. I'm just bored with it. I mean, yes, there's new weapons to chase, but I've got a shit ton of weapons that I use right now. But think about it. You got all those weapons. How often do you go into your vault and go, I want to use this? You're using the same stuff over and over. Whatever you get light to, and depending on what the burn is or what you need for running that, it's stasis, solar, void, whatever it is. You pick that out, you run it, and then you go back. Do your thing. You have your ones you love. I mean, we've got too many weapons. We're bloated. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, I get it.
So,
and I do go into my vault and pick weapons out to go and play in PvE. I mean, I'm sorry, in PvP. Since everything has been brought up now, there's no more sunset. But, I think, if I remember correctly, last year's Solstice was very confusing on how to rank up the armor. And if that's the same this year, that's gonna flop. They need to make that more simple. They need to create a simpler system of objectives you have to do to rank up your armor. And it just can't be that complicated like it was last year. And even when I finally got some of the Artifice armor, I think that's how they did it. I think it was Artifice armor.
I don't remember because I didn't play
Artifice
that
armor. I'm pretty sure it was either that or it was very high stat armor, like really spiky stuff. And you could attune it to what you wanted, what stat you wanted. I believe that's how it worked. That's how complicated it was. So I'm hoping the special events team changed it up this year. I really do. We'll have to see, I guess, on Tuesday on Reset, but,
I mean, as far as I know, Tuesday's when it's coming out. They haven't said nothing about being delayed, so.
Yeah. Yeah. To be honest, I'm not really worried about Destiny. I'm worried about future content of Destiny, and obviously my pipe dream of a Destiny 3 is probably half a decade away at the minimum right now. If they do decide to make a Destiny 3, and according to the Jason Schreier article, it looks like what they're doing is, when I heard that they're rebranding and making the game more friendly to new players, you know what that screamed to me? They're bringing back Red War campaign. They're going to bring back that Red War campaign where people know the full story of Destiny 2, not just jump in and go, well, I have no clue how we even got here. Instead of run around and do errands, and we're going to give you this 5-minute cutscene on to try to catch up on everything. I don't care how attentive you are. There's no way you're going to learn everything you need to know in one cutscene. It's just bad. It's bad. And we've talked about it in the past. Our, average Destiny 2 player and I had a whole, Destiny help desk on this topic. But, I don't think Sony is stupid here. I think if anything, you're going to see you're going to see new faces in the industry. You're going to see new faces in the not industry, but in the studio. You're going to see new people coming forward that are going to be taking the lead. I mean, because a lot of the upper management got cut, which I'm going to be honest here. Good. If you're going to cut employees, you got to cut those fat cat salaries too, man, at the top. And if they're overspending and mismanaging this game in this studio, then maybe Sony needs to put some people in there that will take care of business and will get stuff done on a timely manner. I mean, they said that they were going to have stricter timelines, in that article as well. So I'm hoping that they'll have more, maybe even if it's more conservative, what they call expansion packs, little smaller expansion packs. I'm okay with that even. I really am. Something like Into the Light. I really enjoyed that when they brought it out, but, I don't know. We'll have to see what that looks like in the future. But, you know, I breaking into a live service game environment and capturing new player base is really tough these days. In fact, I think they did a poll saying that the gamers today are still playing the same amount of hours, but they're playing a lot fewer games. They're spending more time investing in certain live service games or whatever it may be. It could be your football game. It could be the college football game. It could be, like, for me, it's Destiny because it's a live service environment. We're always getting updates in the, in the season pass and the episodes and stuff. There's something always for me to check in and play. And, I think with this new management in place, I think this could be a good thing. I'm keeping an open mind on this, but this could be a good thing for Bungie. That Bungie now has maybe more disciplined upper management and maybe better direction on what it wants to get done. And that may mean that we get boring releases. And if that's the case, then Bungie's lost its soul. If Noseworthy, and Smith are gone, and we don't see that beautiful magic that the Bungie games and Destiny releases, then maybe the soul of the studio is dead. But I'm not going to judge right now until I see what comes out in the future. But, I think Sony spent their money and they're going to squeeze this studio until they get it out. Especially when they just released this new beta that I downloaded but never played, Concord. It looked fun. Mm-hmm. It was even, like I said last week, it even was created by some of the ex-Bungie developers, some of the PvP team that went over there to help design this game. And man, to get such a lackluster amount of people to try it out, maybe it's the fact that it's not free to play. Maybe the fact that it's a $40 game, which, I mean, for me and you, $40 is not a big deal. But for the average player who maybe can only spend $100 a year on games, then maybe that is a step too far. Maybe that is what's hurting them. But I think if anything, Sony's going to value, I hope they value the Destiny player base. We are a loyal set of fans here that love this game. And, I really hope they don't take that for granted. I really don't. If they start creating just some dry, crappy discount content, it's going to be the death spiral for Destiny and for Bungie.
Well, it's like I said, you got the next 2 episodes. We know that's coming. Frontiers. Let's see what that is. And then after that, I'll hold myself out until that. You know what I'm saying? I'm still going to play other games. I'm going to do other stuff in between. I'm going to go play Destiny, do whatever I got to do for that week. If it takes me longer that week, I'll do it. But when I get to a point, I'm like, okay, I've done enough. I'm going to go back and play my other games. But, I'm like you. I'm holding judgment. Hopefully they do something to make it appealing to other people. I don't know if bringing back Red War campaign is going to bring a bunch of new people in, but they've seen every time we have a change, it's always, we're going to do something to bring in new people. And then they do it for a while. We're going to do something to bring in new people. Go for a while. We're going to change the new player experience. Just freaking do it. For God's sakes, just do it. Quit talking about it. Do it, because hopefully whoever they got making the decision now can do that and bring in new people, because I can't bring new friends into playing this. I can't describe what's going on to them. Nope. I'm like, you haven't played this? No, there's no point. Go play what you're playing. Don't jump into this,
I've asked people in the past, would you, if you had someone new to Destiny 2, would you tell them to jump in and play? And a lot of them have said no. I wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy.
I mean,
it's so difficult.
It looks to me with the new content thing, the way they're going is like what Fortnite does, what all these free to play games are. They're free to play. And then if you want to get the other stuff, like there's a regular season pass bar, but if you want that other stuff, pay this and you get the dungeon key, whatever dungeon. I mean, that's happy. If they're bringing dungeon keys out, then maybe they're still going to be releasing dungeons. That's something that'll keep hardcore players in that love PvE, love the dungeon stuff. Maybe they'll reprise some of these old raids. Maybe Wrath will come back. Maybe the Leviathan raids will come back with the little mini layers. Maybe that would bring people back and have something else to do. You can't sit here and sit with the raids we have now, even with Salvation's Edge and all the ones we got, they're going to get stale. Nobody's going to want to run them, So
and it's so expensive to make those raids.
Yeah, you're going to have to sit here and either, reprise Wrath. I know that's going to bring people back. Bring Leviathan back.
Yes, please.
You got that right, and
I want those weapons.
And if you're making new episodes and there's a dungeon in it, that's fine. That's something new for people to chase. So.
Well, RNG, I reached out to our Discord community because there's been a lot of chatter over this in our Discord. And I said, what feedback do you guys have? And I created a separate feedback channel where our podcast questions usually are. And I just want to read off some of these. Some people did chime in. First one here is from Luminous Zero. He said, just want to ask you guys that given over the years in this recent layoff that Destiny is slowly fading out. I ask this because Destiny can't be sustained as a content creation tools anymore, given on how future DLCs will function, and that they rather focus on more than one game. Also curious on what you guys' thoughts on PvP's future. I'll start with you, RNG. What do you think?
When it comes to the PvP future, I'll leave that to you because I don't PvP. I'm strictly PvE.
I guess is he asking, is it slowly fading out?
He's asked because Destiny can't be sustained as a content creation tool. All these streamers that Destiny is their game, they're going to probably have to find something else. They'll be able to run with what they got, but if it's few and far between and not big expansions, they're going to have to find something to fall back on. But, it does feel like Destiny is slowly fading out. And I kind of felt that with Final Shape. I know me and Kingsley had talked about it before that I felt like Final Shape was it, that was the end of it. And if they wanted to continue it, they might continue it, but we see what's happening now. So who knows where the story's going to go or how it's going to go. So, I think your last big, like you said, that was our last big expansion. We're not doing that no more. So we'll see how they do from here out,
Yeah, I did say in the past show that is the last expansion, a large, big expansion for Destiny 2. I just think they're just going a different direction, and now it's been verified. Now, keep in mind, these are all articles from third parties, and that Bungie and Sony has not officially stated anything yet. There's no official statement yet on anything we've talked about, other than the Pete statement. That's the only thing officially from Bungie right now. So, and we've had a lot of people that were laid off that tweeted and talked about different things in the game. And Jason Schreier, I consider him a very solid, source. Mm-hmm. That's why I reference his, article here. But, we don't know till they actually talk to us and officially make a statement about it. And I'm sure we're going to hear that in the next week or so. LPU Soldier had a question here. He says, I get that all the hate is because of passion for the game, but do you think it's way too much and the community needs to severely reel it in? Bungie is a business and unfortunate layoffs happen, and the video game industry is extremely volatile career choice. That's why I'm a tradesman, LOL. That's why I'm a tradesman. Obviously I feel terrible for the ones who got let go, but if people start attacking Bungie in itself, then they are just hurting the devs who are safe this round. I think those devs need to take action, like unionize if anyone does. Yeah, we talked about that, right? You
That's what I said earlier. Yep, that's what I said earlier. They need to unionize that way. If something like they try to do this again, they got something to fight back with.
Yeah. It is a business, and it's all about the numbers. Unfortunately, that's corporate America, and that's business all around the world. It's all in the numbers, and unfortunately, the numbers don't lie. So, I kind of agree with you there, LPU. But I feel really bad for the Destiny content creators out there. There's some of them out there I'm not worried about at all, but there's some out there that I really love and they make really good content, and they've basically, put their shingle out on the game Destiny. And, I already have a job. So if anything I put out on my YouTube channel, it's because I want to. It's because I have a passion or something I want to share or something. But these guys, they have to pay their bills and feed their families. So, I really do feel for these guys. So, have to make some big decisions, and this is probably a big slap in the face for a lot of them. As far as the, lashing out, I think people are just emotional. I was listening to a podcast this week that they really got into it. I've never seen them so emotional on a show before. And you can tell everyone's kind of revved up on this whole thing right now because we want Destiny to go on forever. We do. I mean, I do. I want to play Destiny forever. It'd love to be, I won't mention my age, but well, I'd love to be an old man still jumping onto another planet to shoot aliens in the face, you know? So, okay. We have another, input here. Soccer. He says the tech industry as a whole overhired a couple years ago and has had massive layoffs this year. And this is nothing new. It does suck to see your favorite game and franchise owner lay off people. Absolutely. But they shot themselves in the foot by overhiring in the first place.
Yep. That's exactly what I said earlier. That's during COVID, people overhired because everybody, we can do it, work from home. And then they realized when it was over with and everything started to get back to normal, we've got too many people. We're in the red. We need to cut salaries instead of fixing other stuff and maybe keeping your people on. Let's cut salaries because that's the first place you go.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Soccer's right. I mean, when they talked about cutting knitting classes, I mean, I don't offer knitting classes to my employees. I mean, I don't offer anything. They'll be lucky to get health insurance. I mean, it's expensive. So when I heard that part, I kind of chuckled a little bit, but, the developers of old, they probably had very lavish, arrangements for their employees because they're creative people. You want to put together a creative environment, right? Where they can lay back and chill out and just turn their brain off for a minute after programming something that didn't work a million times, I get that part. I really do. But, yeah, I think that's what happened here. And
I mean, it is what happened. And if you could go ahead and take Kingsley's next question off of Soccer's is like Kingsley said, Bungie overextended even more than other companies. Good leaders know how to do it slower and smarter, and then would not have had any layoffs, or at least way less than around the 5 to 8 range. Not what they did. I mean, 220 people, that was a 17% layoff. That's ridiculous. It's unacceptable to have a number of close to 50% between the two recent layoffs. I mean, Kingsley's right. You're close to half your workforce, half of your people you laid off. I mean, how much money did they spend to build that new headquarters for Bungie?
Oh my God. I can't even imagine.
For what? And now, I mean, if you've let off half of it, that place has got to seem like a ghost town now. There's got to be floors. There's got to be rows of offices where there is nobody.
Well, they built that studio and then COVID happened and then no one could go in there because it was COVID. So everyone was remote working anyway. And now that seems to be the trend that everyone likes to remote work now. Both my kids work from home. They plug into a computer every day and make a salary. That's unheard of for me.
And man, that's fine. As a tech person, I have no problem with that. There are plenty of tech jobs you could do that don't put you at a place. But what I do, I have to be there. And like I said, I have no problem with it. I get up and go and do my thing. The job I'm at now, every couple of weeks, this week was my week to work from home, Yeah. I got to do that. That was one of the advantages, but it is what it is. So.
Yeah. Kingsley continues here. He says, it's not just nothing to see here. This is how businesses work. Saying that is just excusing that there is nothing that could have been done, but there is stuff that could have been done and should have been done ahead of time. This, along with the latest semi-believable reports that they probably oversold themselves to Sony, Pete Parson needs to step down before he gets his stock options also. As far as the game in the future, it's very concerning, but I think also it's what we need to expect from most live service games. I don't think live service games are the golden cow that we used to think they are, and we might have to expect less content and more pay-to-play packs and skins, etc.
Yep, exactly. He's exactly said what I said. It's going to go the way of Fortnite and stuff. It's going to go, You want this, pay for it, and if you don't, we're selling these skins, buy this skin pack, stuff like that. That's what you're going to see. So.
And then finally, Fudd chimes in. What would you do with a $4 million desk? I guess I heard today that Pete bought a $4 million desk.
Yep, on top of his cars and everything. It's one of the things that came out that he spent.
Can you really spend $4 million on a desk?
You can if you got it.
My standing desk was, I think, $350. Fine by me.
Yeah, that $4 million desk probably, God knows what it does. It better like blow smoke up your ass and
better, man.
I don't know, everything else.
I'm trying to imagine what the hell would a $4 million desk look like. It'd have to be like a whole room or something. Even then, my God, man, that's like never mind. And then he finally says, will this finally allow Todd to play games with me? I love you, Fudd.
Hold on. I got you, Fudd, on this one. No. The answer is no. Todd will still never play other games with you. I will play other games with you because I understand there are other games out there. Don't worry. My sweet summer child, I've got you, Fudd. I will play with you.
Fudd, those title screens are beautiful, man. They really are. They really did a lot of work on those title screens. All right. Well, any final words here, RNG, before we head out? Anything else you want to mention? I know they mentioned that they're going to have these expansion packs, and there's been other articles out there saying, did Sony get duped? Did they overpay? They did say that Herman Holtz was taking over and overlooking the Bungie studio now. Herman Holtz, by the way, looks over all the Sony studios. So it's not like he's just going to be standing over everybody, but there's going to be some accountability now. And, yeah. Any comment on that?
No, not really. The last thing I would say is if you've bought the season pass and you've got the episodes, play through them. Don't give up on that. See what Frontiers offers. And then after that, if you don't like what Frontiers offer and you want to go play something else, go play something else. I mean, there are other games out there for you to play. Yeah. I mean, it's plain and simple. Don't pigeonhole yourself to just Bungie and Destiny. Don't. I promise you, don't. I used to be like that. I'm not that way anymore. There are other games. There's a group for you, Todd. There's support groups, You can play other stuff, I swear.
I can?
Yeah.
Okay.
You sit here and talk about wanting to play college football. You're going to buy it and not play it.
Do you mean games I have in my library that I don't play?
I mean,
we
got enough people with Nips and all of us. We could literally start our own league for college football. Our own dynasty.
Okay.
They've talked about it on Potato Thumbs, so.
Yeah, I'll definitely play it.
No, you won't.
I tell you what, I'll end on this. If I had Herman Holtz's ear right now, I would tell him, do not take the Destiny player base for granted. And you better take care of him with fantastic content. Don't release generic crap. You'll just slowly kill the golden goose that brings in all the money for Bungie right now. Think about it. Marathon hasn't even been released yet. We don't even know if it's going to do well or not. It's the only thing bringing positive cash flow into your studio. And now that Sony's basically in charge, I really hope they don't squander this player base. I really don't. I mean, maybe even put in-game messages. Hey, try Concord. I mean, I don't care. I'll look at that and then I'll exit it out. But, yeah. So, thanks to everyone in the Discord who chimed in. We had a lot of activity in our Destiny chat channel as well. And, it was a lot of some long conversations in there. But, if you're in our Discord, check out the Destiny chat channel under game stuff in our Discord. And there's been a lot of conversation about all of what's been going on here. So, all right. Well, speaking of which, man, let's get some questions from our community. What do you think?
Works for me.
All right. I'll do that right after my scheduled bathroom break.
Don't you?
Yeah, I got to do it, man.
No. There's no scheduled bathroom breaks.
No,
We're just going to keep going.
I got to use the bathroom. I do.
Just attach a bag. Let's go.
No. I don't do that stuff. What is that hanging off your crotch? Never mind. Hey, Guardians, would you like to send a question for the show to us? There are 4 ways to do it. First, you can join our Discord server at discord.gg/GuardianDowncast. There's also a join link in our show notes down below. We have Guardians from all walks of life and all over the world, from new lights to day one players to hardcore gamers. There's also a channel labeled Podcast Questions where you can type in your question for the show. So come hang out with us. You can also email us with your question at guardiandowncast@gmail.com, or we also occasionally post about our upcoming show and guest, and you can respond there with your question at Guardian_D_cast is our X handle. Finally, you can send us a voicemail with your question at guardiandowncast.com. and we might play it on the podcast. Think of it as talking with us right on the show. Thanks for listening, and later, Guardian. All right, boys and girls, this is the part of the show where we get our questions from you guys. So we'll start off with a voicemail here. And this one is one Hammer Crasher left us last week, but we had the round table, so we weren't taking questions in. So let's hear his first. Here we go. Hammer Crasher 32.
Hey guys, Hammer Crasher 32 here. I had a question. You guys were talking about Marathon a few episodes back and how it was going to be a hero shooter. I know there was talk of the guy leading it coming from a hero shooter game, but has it been verified that it's going to be a hero shooter? Because really, I have not played a hero shooter that I really like. I like the personalization that we have in Destiny, and speccing into what you want to be. I don't know. I'm not really looking forward to a hero shooter marathon, but I don't know. I feel like Bungie's going to do it right. Hopefully, not make it a hero shooter. Make it a customizable. Make your character your own, like they have been doing for 10 years. Anyway, I want to play it when it comes out. We'll see. PvP in Destiny is still fun. And I'll catch y'all in the Crucible.
All right. Thank you, Hammer Crasher 32. What do you think, RNG?
I still think it's going to be a hero shooter because that's the last thing we heard. I'm hoping maybe with the changes this week, I don't see them changing that because I think it would be too much of an overhaul. I don't think you're going to have the ability to customize. I think they're to go more with the hero shooter like Overwatch and stuff. So I think you just go have heroes that do special things, and that's what you're going to pick. I don't think it's going to be customized. Hopefully I'm wrong, and they are, but they changed it and it'll be that way, but I don't see it being that way.
Well, correct me if I'm wrong, Gator. This new Concord's a hero shooter, isn't it?
I don't know. I haven't really
seen much about it because it's character based. You're picking a group of characters like you would say, I don't know, like when you pick the characters to play Mortal Kombat. They all have different things they can do and stuff. From what I've heard a few things about Marathon. Back a ways back, they did say that they brought in someone who has dealt with hero shooters before. You mentioned it, Hammer Crasher. And I think what they decided was it was just going to be too much time to create what they really wanted. That trailer that you saw, almost a year and a half ago now, that little teaser for Marathon, that music still sticks in my head. I don't think we're getting that game. I think they've been forced to create a more simpler hero shooter, kind of like Overwatch is what I'm thinking when they say that. And, from what I've heard from just the news this week from people talking about Bungie, including Jason Schreier's article, they're all in on Marathon, man. It has to be, it's going to be Bungie's savior. If it flops, then Bungie's going to be in trouble, because if they're going to do limited, non-expansions in the future for Bungie, for the Destiny game, that's a lot less money they're going to be bringing in. And, they're going to have to definitely lean on microtransactions more and more for that. So if they're not going to be getting the same amount of money, from the Destiny game in the future, and then this Marathon comes out and doesn't do well, being that Bungie has their name on it, I think initially will create some interest. I just don't know how much. And it's an extraction shooter. I mean, I don't play many extraction shooters. I never have. I tried to play, what's that extraction shooter, Gator?
Tarkov?
Yeah, I tried to play Tarkov. It was too confusing. There was too many variables. I just want to, I like the arena shooter atmosphere. That's why I love playing Crucible. And, I think what they're gonna do to hedge their bets there, I think they may have I kind of want to think that they're going to make an arena game type for a Crucible type game with hero shooters, and then have the main game be the extraction. Battlefield 2042 did that, where they had a battle royale also, with, an extraction shooter type game type as well. So it's possible they can have both. and we don't know anything about it. They've mentioned nothing. It's been radio silence as far as what's coming out the Mountain Marathon. But if they're coming out in 2025 with it, I'm guessing it's probably going to be fall of 2025. Because if that's going to be Bungie's next big giant game coming out, they're going to want to sell it right there in the fall when everyone's gaming and when gaming's at peak. So that's my guess anyway, is going to be maybe September of 2025. If I was to give you a month and year. So we'll have to see. So I think if anything, the reason Final Shape really never equaled the numbers of, Lightfall, I think it's all because it's in the summertime. I think summer is really a tough time to break into major games because people are outside, man. They're out doing vacations with their family. This is the time where they do those vacations every year. And this is when they usually get time off from work. So I think that's what hurt Final Shape a little bit, even though it was a banger of a game expansion. I don't think they'll do that again. I don't see them releasing this game in the summer. I really don't. So, thanks for your question, Hammer. Let's see. We have another question here from, oh boy, Rodimus. Let's see what he has to say.
I forget how to use this thing. It's been a long time since I sent one. With all the recent Destiny rumors and leaks and all that stuff, what do you guys feel? Do you think people are too involved in one game and need to start branching out to other games? Because it seems like people are getting more upset about a game that's almost a decade old. Its player base is slowly declining, but everyone wants these new and great things. But this company is laying off more and more people as we go on. So to me, it doesn't hold my value anymore because it's this regurgitated crap what we're playing. We're going back to Nessus. We're doing the same things like Nessus, except for like a small little twist. We're planting a beacon or fighting a new boss, but yet we're still in the same lost sectors. There's no new maps. There's no new planets. So that's just my take. Just wanted your thoughts on the different types of games people should start venturing into and playing, because I'm feeling everyone's too pigeonholed in one game and they don't expand their library of games to play. Just want to know what your thoughts are. Thank you. Have a good one. Toodles.
There's other games?
I made my remark earlier. Yes, there's other games.
Oh, okay.
I mean, like I said, you play Destiny, play the story, you get done with it. Don't feel like you're pigeonholed to Destiny. There's other free-to-play games out there. I mean, hell, go play Fortnite, go play something else. I mean, it's not a big deal to. Bungie's not going to be mad that you went and played other games. They're not. Don't worry about it. And neither is the community. We know other people play other games. I mean, we just 9 times out of 10 get in Discords just to shoot the crap and just talk. I mean, while we're all playing something different, or heck, in Space Mafia, we're watching Cops while people are playing games, or we're watching anime
Oh my God.
in a group. You know, I mean, there's other stuff to do besides just Destiny.
I know.
You can do it. I promise. There's a branch out there. You can get off that one. It's going to break. It's breaking anyway. Get off of it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna start playing other games, and Final Shape, as fun as it has been, I've really not just grinded it out. I kind of had a feeling this was kind of the last hurrah of an expansion for Bungie and Destiny 2. I've really taken my time. I still need to run dual Destiny on my Hunter and my Titan. I haven't even begun to work on the exotic class items for those two things. I still have this, some mission on, the Pale Heart that I haven't even dove into yet. I don't have the exotic, line rifle, laser rifle, whatever it's called.
The Microcosm?
Microcosm. Yeah, I've yet to get that done.
That's a fun one.
Yeah. So I'm going to dive into those stuff, but I'm taking my time, man. I'm pacing myself. I mean, like I said, it's summertime. It's peak time for me in my business right now. I really don't have a lot of time. I can't take days off like I would like to and play Destiny all day. I just can't do it, man. I got too much to do right now. It's peak season for me. So, yeah, I know there's other games out there, and my short-term view right now is I want to finish Elden Ring. I talked about it in last week's, roundtable episode, and I really want to finish Elden Ring. I want to get in there and get those bosses finished. So that's going to take a lot of time. I know that's going to take a lot of time, but what I'm thinking about doing is maybe making it like a Thursday night. That'll be Elden Ring night. I jump in and play Elden Ring and we'll see how far I get before 1 a.m. comes. 1 a.m. comes, I watch my show and go to bed. That's it's probably going to be my routine here going forward. So thanks, Rodimus. And we have one more voicemail from Scumdeath. Uncle Scumdeath has a voicemail for us, a question for the show. What's up, Scumdeath?
Hello, Scumdeath here. Question for RNGGator. I wish, as I'm thinking about my life now, I wish I'd went into the Royal Navy. I've been a gardener for 33 years. But there's a couple of jobs I wish I would like to have done. Be a carpenter. I'd like to have been a motorbike mechanic. But I would really have liked to join the Royal Navy. And I sort of wish I did that. If I had my time over again, I would probably join the Royal Navy just to see the world and just explore what's out there. So my question is, if you had your time over again, what job would you do? All right. Love you all. Ciao.
Thanks, Uncle Scumdeath. Well, what do you think, Chet?
I mean, when I started out programming side of IT, and I didn't want to do it. There's part of me that wishes I would have went back and probably have stuck with that instead of quitting out on it so soon. Instead of being on the break fix side of things, I would like to have, now that I found this job I'm getting ready to go to, hopefully this is my last one. I'm not planning on looking for any more, but if I could go back, I would still stay in IT. I'd probably go more into I'd stick it out with the programming side, or I would have tried to look into security more than I would have what I went into. That's the only thing I would change.
Very cool. All right, let's go to the Discord here. We have our first question from Steel Zealot, one of our patron members. Question for the show: favorite form of potato? That's an easy answer for me.
Baked, fried, smashed, put them in a stew. What else what are we going with here? Any of them is my favorite form of potato. I like potatoes.
Yeah, I love potatoes too.
I don't have one. Yeah.
Baked potato all the way. I love French fries. Don't get me wrong. Or I'm sorry for UK members, chips. I did have fish and chips on the pier in South, England. It was very good. Very good. But, nope, still got to go with a baked potato. My wife makes a fantastic baked potato. What she does, she takes we use the, yellow potatoes. Not the big Idaho ones. We use the yellow ones. They have like really soft flesh. I don't know how else to say it. But she'll spray it down with olive oil on the outside and use this. I think Red Lobster does this too. They'll put like crusted rock salt on the outside of it, and she'll put it in the oven and like cook it for like, I don't know, an hour and a half or something. Just nice deep baked potato. Man, they're so good. They're so good. So yeah, that is my favorite potato, is the white potato, or golden potatoes. That's what they call them. So.
Gotcha.
Ronan Red Lion, a major auto manufacturer in collaboration with Bungie assigned you a small but versatile team of car designers. Well, this doesn't sound good. To come up with, next year's model, which will be named after a Destiny item. What will you see roll off the assembly line into the showroom in 2025? He has an extra question too, but let's answer the first one.
Huh.
What would be the name of the car based after a Destiny item? Why not name it the Marathon?
Just call it Telesto. It's going to screw up anyway.
Telesto's the besto, baby.
It's going to come out. It'll be recalled before it's out a month.
You have to bring it in to get it tuned. Oh my God. That's awesome. I didn't even think of that. Good call. Good pull. Oh, geez. He has a bonus question here. Pick a Triumph Seal title for the highest tier special edition.
I have no idea.
A Triumph?
I have to go into the game.
Triumph Seal?
For the highest special edition? I mean, I would,
Triumph
we're thinking
Seal.
like one of the hardest one of the harder ones to get. I mean, you got dredging. You could call one dredging. I mean, but I wouldn't be your higher tier one. I mean, I guess what was the one for doing Pantheon? What was it called?
Oh,
Godslayer.
Godslayer.
There you go.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Reveler because that's the title I'm wearing right now. Because that's if you do all the seasonal activities throughout the year, you get the Reveler title. That's what I'm gonna say, the Reveler.
Yeah.
All right, thanks, Ronan Redline. Thanks for the question, buddy. All right, next question is from Dorath. Question for the show: when socks mysteriously disappear in the laundry, are they exploring the sock multiverse, or they simply evolved into a higher state of hosiery existence? Some deep questions tonight, Gator.
I don't know who these people think I am, but
probably because you like Marvel movies.
Multiverse, exploring the sock multiverse. Sure, we'll go with that because the multiverse is so much fun right now. Well,
when the drum hits 88 miles an hour, it does, time warp. So that's what I'll say.
They're all stuck in 1945.
There you go.
That's what it is.
There's a pile of socks at this church in 1945 in Indiana.
Exactly.
There you go. Thanks, Dorath. Next question from Tajo Trade. Question for the Gators. Why is there no crocodile representation at this meeting? Crocodiles.
Because only gators get out of the swamp.
That's right. That's well known. It's Florida Gators.
You know where I got that from. That is literally as the players walk out. That is on the tunnel.
It's on the board.
Yeah.
Another question he has here. You accidentally get an email from Bungie with their plans for the next act. You get to see the next 5 artifact perks they are adding. What are they? Oh God. I'm not creative.
I tell you right now, ain't none of them going to be weapon ones because I'm about tired of overload and barrier and all that stuff. I don't know. There's only so many archetypes of weapons. So, next 5 artifact perks. I mean, unless you're going to do grenade launcher or you're going to do, trace rifle we've had.
Yeah.
You couldn't. What weapon have we not had?
How about anything that has a swarming aftershot, like the pulse rifle? Hold on. How about anything that has
like Outbreak?
Yeah, like Outbreak Perfected. Make it even more powerful for like swarming. Another one could be anything that has an after effect, like the Necrochasm, that has the blinding stuff after it. Why not make that more intensive for exotics that use that? I don't know.
That or at least every perk have something that benefits each. So now we have give me one that's prismatic, give me one that's solar, give me one that's arc, give me one that's stasis, and give me one that's strand.
Yeah. How about for all of the exactly. How about for instead of just solar and strand and stasis, how about something for void for a change? Been a while since
put them all in there.
Yeah.
Put them all in there.
Yeah, why not?
Why not?
I think they should offer different. I think it should be represented. All the class energy types should be represented. I think that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
As long as there's nothing for hand cannons, I'm happy. Thanks, Tajo Trade.
You shut up. Take that out of your mouth. Hand cannons are great.
Technical. Another one of our patrons. Question for Gator, not the Gator. Do you think Gator is jealous of you clearing the new raid first? Yeah. What the hell is this, man? How did you get hooked up and do the raid before me? In this world, how did that happen? I
always raid before you. I always beat the raids before you 9 times out of 10.
Not always.
I'm part of TGH, man. What are you talking about? We raid.
Oh my God.
I've got my groups.
You going to complain that you went to TGH because I didn't help you this time again?
No, I don't. I gotta go. I wasn't going to ask for your help anyway.
Oh, okay.
When's the last time you helped me with the raid?
I don't know. It's been a while.
I got you.
I think we've only run one raid together.
I rest my case. Yeah, and the one raid we ran together, I never want to run a raid with you again. Fucking Val, the disciple. I'm working on my sidearm boundaries. How about you come down here and help me kill these guys?
Dude, my DPS was just fine. All right.
Whatever.
We have one of our newer members here. This is Burr Bisber. Hope I said that right.
You say that.
If there's 2 Gators, which one will you see later? Well, it won't be for a while, Crocodile. At least that we can say, right?
Yeah, I'm not coming to Florida anytime soon, and as far as I know, you're not coming to North Carolina anytime soon.
Nope. Roy697397. Can either of you do a flip? Dude, I've got a pulled adductor muscle. If you don't know what an adductor muscle is, it's the inner thigh muscle. I've pulled it. I think I stuck while bowling or something, and I strained it really bad. I can even barely run right now. So that's a no for me, dog.
Give me 20 years ago in a trampoline, I could. Now,
oh yeah. No. Oh, wait a minute. Now you didn't say I would. Now I might be able to do it if I have a trampoline to help, but it better be rated for some big dudes to be on it. We'll bend that frame.
I wouldn't even attempt that now at my age because knowing my luck, I'm going to break something.
And I got to work for a living, so there's no way I'm breaking anything.
Exactly.
I'm already hobbling around working as it is. Zombie Pops, another one of our patron members. What's the best way to run out a gator? Wait a minute. What's the best way to outrun a gator? And why is it better than simply making sure you run faster than anyone else that's behind you at the time?
Here's the way you outrun a gator. Don't mess with them to begin with, and you don't have to worry about outrunning one.
Serpentine, baby. Serpentine.
Yeah. You see them, don't go in their area. That's their habitat. Don't go that way. Unless you're crazy enough.
As a kid, I used to catch them. I used to put a hook on a bobber, and they would come right to the bobber as they're floating around. They just bit it out of curiosity. And man, I would have the best time fighting an alligator on my fishing pole. I used to do it as a kid when I got bored, in our little ponds on our property I lived on. And as soon as I got them to the edge where they actually poked their head out of the edge of the water, I dropped everything and ran. And, they just took my rod and reel back into the pond. But, anyway, it's not the best story, I guess. But anyway, Elmer Fudd Games, with the final question here. Do you want to make out while listening to reruns of Bonanza? I think that's for you, RNGGator. He's your buddy.
Yep. I'll be your host to your little Joe.
Oh, God. I think I'm going to be sick. Jeez. Well, everyone, thanks for your questions tonight. We did have some questions in our Destiny only questions. I think I'm going to save those for next week. It's kind of had a lot to talk about this week, and I'll save those for next week. We have another brand new guest on the show next week, so I'll save those. Maybe he can help me answer those as well. Oops, did I say that? Anyway, thank you everybody for your questions, and as always, if you do ever want to enter questions for the show, you can either email me at toddthegator@gmail.com or guardiandowncast@gmail.com or our voicemail, that's speakpipe.com/guardiandowncast, our website, guardiandowncast.com, and just hit send a voicemail, or in our Discord, that's discord.gg/guardiandowncast, and just go to our podcast questions channel and you can enter them right there. Thank you everyone for your questions for the show. Before we go, we have a Scumdeath Corner, and we're going to play it now. So, Uncle Scumdeath, what's going on in the UK today, brother?
Hello, welcome to Scumdeath's Corner. Ooh, I think I might have done a bit of a bad thing. I don't get on the PS very often. I don't get on Destiny very often. So, the other day I thought, I'll put a bit of Destiny on, and there was some cheap games going. So on the PlayStation Store, and I saw No Man's Sky for 16, 17 quid. And it's always a game I'd wanted to try. But now that I sort of realised that it's VR as well, and they've done a massive update on it, and it's all on the news and everything, how good it is. So it's like, so I bought it. And I thought, I've got my VR system, and I don't use it very often, so an infinite game to play in VR is, to me, the things dreams are made of. So, yes, I bought it, and it's insane. It's crazy stuff. So, yes, I know it's infinite hours, but I need to get back to Destiny. I need to. But it's a silly mistake for me. I should not have bought No Man's Sky. But I'm going to have to... I haven't even finished... the first campaign. Oh my god, I've been on it for ages. I'm gonna have to sort this out, guys. Oh, right, okay. I need to sort my time management. That's what I need to do. Time management. Anyway, all right. I love you all, and get on your way.
I gotta admit, man, No Man's Sky is it's a prime example of a game studio that never gave up on their game, and now look where they're at.
Even
look where
when,
they're at.
yeah.
Look,
I mean, that game was not doing well, and all of a sudden they kind of update. And I mean, it's if you have Game Pass, you can play it for free. I hate to tell Scum Death that, but with Game Pass, I can download it for free. I don't have to.
He's a PlayStation guy.
Yeah, I know he is. But yeah, No Man's Sky was not in a good spot, and you
remember the memes?
You
remember the memes on No Man's Sky? They showed it was the Jurassic World. Welcome to Jurassic Park, and they had the music flowing, and then all of a sudden it's like a B-rated copy of the song, and you see all these. Yeah,
it's like somebody with an out of tune weapon playing it.
Yeah, like a recorder. Yeah,
out of tune instrument. Excuse me.
It's come a long way, man. I'm actually thinking about. I'm thinking about diving in and grabbing it. I wonder if it's on PlayStation Plus. I'm curious.
I do not know. I'd have to ask my son. He has Plus.
I'll have to look because I do have PlayStation Plus. I might look into that. I don't have PlayStation VR though. I'd have to get it on Steam, I think, to use it on my Meta Quest.
Well, I mean, you wouldn't have to worry. You can play it without VR.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh no, I know, but it'd be so fun to play it on VR. I would just worry that it wouldn't render very sharply. I mean, I have the Meta Quest 3, but I don't know if it would. I don't know. It is 120 hertz. It's much faster now. I don't know. I'll look into it. Well, thanks, Uncle Scumdeath. Appreciate the Scumdeath Corner this week. And don't worry, Destiny's not going anywhere. Just play it when you're ready to play it, man. I'll be here if you need any help. All right. Elmer Fudd Games. Play that intro music, sir.
Listen to the Guardian Downcast. Oh, it's a playlist. Yes. Oh, I've heard they've won awards for it and such.
Thank you, Mr. Fudd. Looking forward to that raid race, brother. This is the final segment of our show. This is where we pick our song for our award-winning Guardian Downcast show playlist. A little sample of what myself and our guests like to listen to, and we invite you to follow along and listen to it as well. Just search for Guardian Downcast show playlist on Spotify, and it's now on Apple Music as well. The links are down in our show description down below if you want to follow along with us. We now have 1,211 songs representing us and all of our past guests. It's the songs we picked ever since half a decade ago now. Damn, can't believe that. I'll start with you, Gator. What are you picking for tonight, man, and why?
So the song I'm picking is one that I've been on a kind of a Christian music kick here lately. Listening to old music that I grew up listening to and the new stuff. And this is a song by an artist named Brandon Lake, but it also has Elevation Worship, Chris Brown, Chandler Morris, a bunch of Christian artists. It's called Praise. My band at church played it one weekend. I knew it before they played it. And this is just one of those songs when you hear it and you get a group together, it gets you going. You know, it's got really good beat to it. It's got a really good message in it. And it just, you can't help but sing along with it, clap, everything. It's one of those feel good songs. And I've kind of been in with the new job and everything, I've been in a really good mood here lately and everything kind of going, my way for once and everything. And this song it's one of those I can listen to no matter what I feel about it. It's going to put me in a good mood to listen to.
Nice, man. I like inspirational music. Can't beat it. Especially if you get a good acapella or if you played it in your church, they probably had like a stripped down version of it. It's probably really good.
No, they played it. They did drums, guitars, everything at my church. It's
nice, man.
They played it. It sounded just like the one that you'll hear, the one I added. It's very good.
It's one thing I always love about church, man, is the music. Always good music.
Yeah. We go to a more contemporary, not traditional style. Yeah. We don't do that one. It's more,
I got you.
Drums, guitars, all that. I love
more
it.
Progressive. Yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
I've been in those churches too. Yeah, it's very inspirational music. Well, the song I chose for tonight, I actually just found out about this band. They're from Chicago, Illinois. Fairly new band. They have a nice retro 80s band feel. And some of you who know me know that I love White Lies, which is a very 80s type music band. But they have a modern twist though. I think Roy Orbison meets the Cars. That's the best way I can explain this. The song I chose from them, I heard on the Jimmy Kimmel Show live just a few weeks ago, and I really dig this sound, man. The song I chose is a brand new single called We Were Never Alive, and the band is called Bridget Calls Me Baby, and they just signed with ATO Records after the record studio developers, I guess, heard a killer set they had at South by Southwest back in 2023, and they have a brand new album coming out later this year, so check them out. Brand new music right there. Good sound. It's retro, but still with a little more modern twist to it. So I liked it. Want to give a shout out, our member of the week shout out. It's Better Call Laz, aka Lazarus the Lich. Like RNG, he's been here since the beginning as well. 5 years now. And I just heard his interview on Elmer Fudd's new podcast, Get On In Here, from about a week ago, I think. I really enjoyed the conversation he had with Elmer Fudd Games. So check that interview out from him if you haven't already. They really get into kind of the nitty gritty, man. They really get into parts of his life and stuff, and it was a real interesting interview. Well done, gentlemen. I'm sure he'll be sending in another voicemail soon complaining about something new in the space law environment. So shout out to you, bud, and thanks for all the years with us.
Hey folks, Laz here with GDC today. Do you have some litigation that you need stamped? Maybe some signatures, some I's dotted, some T's crossed? Well, we don't do that here. We just do some random chit-chat and all that. And you're listening to Guardian Downcast.
Before we go, I have some final thoughts about all the news surrounding Bungie's layoffs and downsizing. Hey, I know there's a lot of blame to go around, and a lot of folks are in for some tough times, at least in the short run. You know, video game developers always seem like real-life superheroes to me when they made these awesome digital worlds. It just seems so magical, and studios spent so much money and time to create these awesome experiences that we are so fortunate to play today. I remember a time when video games were just for kids and young at heart, but today's games, I mean, they're so lifelike and believable. I mean, with such great graphics and story and detail. I am so thankful that I live in a time where I can experience all this. However, innovation and success sometimes comes with overambition and failures. I mean, this is what I believe was the case with the latest Bungie layoffs, and it's been stated. And before you just fast forward to the next podcast in your queue, hear me out here. I may not have experience in the entertainment or gaming industries, but I know business, and no matter what business you're in, the numbers don't lie. Let's use a real-life example. If you listen to the beginning of this episode, I had 2 movie reviews, Fly Me to the Moon and Deadpool and Wolverine. Both movies were really entertaining, but what you might not realize is that even though these 2 movies were good, they are on total opposites in the revenue game. I looked it up, and Fly Me to the Moon cost the studio $100 million to create. This movie's been out for over 2 weeks now and has grossed a worldwide amount of $36.9 million. And I'm sure the main actors were fine. They probably got their $8 to $10 million each to play their parts. And, you know, all the staff, services, editors, the people on the set, they all got paid. But the studio just lost nearly $70 million for that one movie. Not many studios will stay in business long doing that. But now let's look at Deadpool and Wolverine. Disney spent a record $274.8 million to create this movie. In fact, it was the most expensive Marvel Comic Universe movie to date. So how the hell is Disney going to recoup all this money? Well, for the first week the movie was released, it has already grossed over $444.1 million in gross receipts worldwide, and it's touted to reach $1 billion with a B in revenue. If that's the case, that studio just made 5 times what it invested in the movie. And I'm sure Hugh Jackman and Ryan Reynolds walked away with at least $30 million each in their pay and whatever royalties they, negotiated when they made the movie. And you can say, hey, it's a Marvel movie, right? It always makes tons of money. Well, let's look at Madam Web. It grossed about $100 million and cost the studio about $80 million to make. So instead of a 500% profit, they only made a measly 20%. So it's just not a guarantee these days, no matter what kind of content you're making. So what's my point here? Gaming studios are a lot like movie studios. They both take years to make and an enormous amount of investment. They sell one product and it either hits big or it doesn't. After everyone is paid, the studio is left holding the bag, so to speak. Sony has probably had its big wins, but I bet you they've also had their failed projects. It's all part of the industry. So I can hear you saying, Gator, what the hell do you know about all this? Well, it's funny you should ask. Back in 2005, I was the owner of a small pest management firm here in Florida. And one day I had the opportunity to buy up another pest control company. I had this delusion of grandeur that I was going to buy this company, and a year later, I even purchased another one. I had so much blind ambition, I was hell-bent creating a big company that everyone would know and use. But I now had a new problem. I had more service routes that I could handle, and I needed to hire some new technicians to get all this work done on time. I now needed an office person to handle the flood of calls now coming in requesting new service and for handling callbacks. In a panic, I offered jobs to some of my close friends who were working for other companies, and I gave them really competitive pay for them jumping over so quickly. But that also meant that I now needed more service vehicles with application equipment and product inventory. I now had to buy fertilizer by the pallet, not just the bag, to keep up with all this demand. My insurance, material costs, workman's comp, unemployment insurance, payroll taxes, fuel, truck payments were all much higher than I expected. In addition to all that, I had to handle special requests from clients and put on my CEO hat as well, dealing with phone calls from my local police station stating that one of my trucks just hit a bicyclist and fled the scene, or another call from a client that my technician never treated his backyard. And I'll never forget this. When I was on the phone with him, I asked him, "Are you sure?" And he says, "Yeah, I'm sitting in my pool right now. He just treated the front yard and left." That same day, I get a call from one of my employees that he hurt himself and now he needs to go home. So now I'm going to be the tech to finish out his route for the day. Ugh. I was a mess. I've never been so stressed out in all my life. I remember the times when I would have panic attacks trying to figure out how the hell I was going to meet payroll this Friday. And many times I had to dip into my own personal funds to get by. Service quality was down. Clients were leaving. I was spinning out of control trying to get it all fixed. I got exactly what I wanted though, right? A big pest management firm, at least in my eyes. I was the big boss man, but man, it sure didn't feel like it. Needless to say, it was not what I expected. But I learned a really valuable lesson that year. Something an employee said to me one time, and I just blew it off. The fish rots at the head. Creating a large company requires planning within planning, lots of goals and measurable targets. New budgets and business plans need to be created before ever writing that check for that first company I bought. Sometimes we as business owners have blind ambition to grow and be the best. But what usually happens is that our blind spots are revealed. And even though our intentions are for the betterment of everyone involved, those blind spots create casualties and everyone loses. Don't get me wrong. I'm not at all defending Pete here, and his actions now have consequences much larger than just a few close friends. Then one day it just hit me. It's time to make the business more manageable. I was going to have a heart attack if I didn't. But that meant a more simpler approach and some really tough decisions to make. All of those close friends I hired, I now had to lay them off. I didn't have any money left to offer any severance. Some of them had to even take unemployment. I felt like shit. What a fucking loser. I felt like I led them astray. I lied to them. Even if my intentions were good, I probably feel like I lost some really good friends in my life. All of my stupid blind ambition and naive ideas, all gone. Today I run a much simpler business model and have purposely kept my business smaller and more manageable. I now know my limits. I'm in a good place now mentally, and I operate a fantastic company with very high service quality. And, I have more free time to talk to you guys now, right? Don't leave. So going back to all this layoff news and the restructuring at Bungie, I really can truly understand the impact here. Back in 2014, when Pete Parsons founded this fantastic game called Destiny, and I know he had partners and he bought them out, but it was a game changer to me. This little company of rule breakers and risk takers probably only saw the upside of their success, and over the years, they tried to probably keep that feeling alive. They probably felt on top of the world when they got their freedom from Microsoft and the Halo franchise, only later to be acquired by Activision, which, ironically, is now owned by Microsoft. But then they got freed again to do their, quote, their own thing, splitting off from their overlords at Activision, and then now, as we all know, finally absorbed by Sony. I think this is where the journey ends for Bungie, to be honest. As far as the expensive cars that Pete Parsons bought, the $4 million desk, with all that acquisition money, hey man, that's his business. Albeit, he probably should have been more discreet with that part, especially in the midst of downsizing than the company he started. I don't pretend to know the origins of Pete, but at some point, like me, he had to take the dive into uncertainty and creating a business from nothing. And now, with the latest acquisition, he gets to enjoy the fruits of his labor. Hey man, that's the American dream, right? You gotta risk it for the biscuit. But if he ever came on this show, I would love to ask him, if he ever had to do it over again, would he have done things differently? I really feel for the employees, just like I did with mine that I had to let go. And I really hope they find their path in life in whatever direction they decide to go after this fracture in their life. I will say this. I think Pete should step down. Sell his shares back to Sony. He created an awesome company, but I think he needs to let others take it from here. Sony is basically in control now anyway. I know the future sounds bleak for Bungie with everything we've talked about today in this episode, but there's one thing we have that Sony wants, and that is a loyal player base. With Sony's release of the beta version of Concord and its subsequent poor performance with only 2,300 concurrent players at peak, I really hope that Sony realizes that the game industry deserves the time it needs for a Destiny 3, or at the very least, quality content from here on out. Only time will tell, right? As far as the future of the show, Destiny Help Desk and Guardian Downcast, I'm not going anywhere. I kind of looking forward to seeing what this new management brings to the game. Whatever that may be. So I'll be here next week to talk about another part of the Destiny universe. So that's where I stand on all this. So where do you stand? Hit me up in the Guardian Downcast show feedback channel in our Discord. That's discord.gg/Guardian Downcast to join up. Well, that's a wrap. Another episode in our collection. We had a great show last week with our roundtable episode featuring zombie pops, technical, and soccer. I really enjoyed our conversation, and thanks to all of you who reached out with your thoughts and feedback for our topics last week. For our new listeners out there, we have 262 other episodes with interviews from gamers all over our community. So take a look at those, especially if you're just finding out about us. And if you like what you hear, can you do me a favor? Tell a friend about us. Check back next week as I have another brand new guest of the show. A special thanks to RNGGator. You can find him in our Discord at RNGGator. He's also can be found on X as well. He's in a ton of the other Discords among the OWL Sector Alliance of podcast communities out there also. So if you see him, send him a DM, say hello, and thank him for being on the show. You can contact me via Twitter X at ToddTheGator. You can also find me playing Destiny 2 on Steam and PS5. I have a YouTube channel, Todd the Gator. That's 2 Ds and GATR. I have another podcast as well, the Destiny Help Desk, where we talk about a singular topic in Destiny 2 with more of a teaching mindset. And sometimes I'll bring friends on to help me explain and explore the topic at hand. If you're listening to this podcast right now and you're subbed to the show, go right now to the Destiny Help Desk and send me a follow. I appreciate that. Remember, as you're playing Final Shape, take breaks and get outside and touch grass. Monty Money. Hey, everyone, remember, we're Guardian Downcast, your stories, your community, your destiny. And be good to your fellow Guardians in the Destinyverse.
The weight of the world was on your shoulders, and still you triumphed. Marvelous.
Thank you all so very much for listening. And later, Guardian.
Hi.
That was a good episode, man. Good show. That was a lot of fun. I know it was kind of a serious topic tonight, but I mean, there's just been so much information out with everything with this Destiny layout, with the Bungie layoffs and stuff. And I don't know, man. I have an open mind. I'm gonna.
I'm not. I wasn't trying to sound negative. I'm saying
I wasn't.
I know where they're going with it, and I'm like you. I'm gonna play through the next 2 episodes, and let's see what Frontiers brings. I'll make my decision then. Just like I said after Final Shape, I'll make my decision after Final Shape and see how episodes go. And then if Frontiers isn't something I like and I don't want to buy the stuff, it's just like Fortnite. I play the season. If I want to buy the season pass, I buy it. If I don't, I don't. Yeah, the one raid we ran together, I'd never want to run a raid with you again. Fucking Val, the disciple. I'm working on my sidearm boundaries. How about you come down here and help me kill these guys?
Dude, my DPS was just fine.